Welcome to OnTarget HTML5 and welcome to an introduction to HTML and CSS. So in this tutorial series, what I'm going to cover is building a web page from scratch, how you can actually go about setting up and structuring a web page and then styling it. The basics of building an HTML page and how to follow the best practices in assembling your HTML page structure. In section 1, I plan to cover HTML. We'll look at assembling your page, adding tags and elements to the page, and setting up the proper structure of an HTML document. We'll cover divs, sections, navigation, headings, paragraph tags, just to name a few of the elements as we assemble our home page. This is meant as an introduction to HTML and CSS. In no way will this cover all the elements available in HTML or CSS, but what I'm trying to show you is how easy it is to actually build your own web pages. You can actually do this from scratch. It's not that difficult. And actually, it's actually a lot of fun because you're actually building something with nothing but a text editor. This is meant to show the viewer that it's not difficult to assemble a properly structured page in HTML and to style that page using CSS. For anyone interested in learning HTML and CSS, this will be a great primer course because it'll actually show you just how simple it really is to assemble these pages. Currently, there are well over 100 elements, at last count 123, that are available in HTML that actually make up our tag structure. We'll cover just a small portion of those, but I will show you the website where you can go to find out what other elements are available and how you can utilize those in your pages that you develop. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It's the markup or scripting language used to structure a web page that can be viewed on the internet. A lot of people think that HTML is a programming language. It actually is not. It's a scripting language. It's basically there to do nothing but structure a page for viewing inside of a web browser. It consists of markup tags that are used to structure and assemble the document. Each HTML tag or element describes different document content that make up the page for display. We'll build our pages from scratch and make a working HTML document so you can see how properly structured HTML documents look and how they appear inside a browser. Then we'll move into CSS, or cascading style sheets, and look at the many different ways that you can style your HTML document once it's been structured. We'll look at the different ways of styling an HTML document from internal styles to external style sheets. And by the way, external style sheets are the preferred and the best practice method. And we're going to discuss the best ways to style an HTML document for web presentation. The entire time we're working through this training or this class, we're actually going to be following best practices as you build your page. This is an introductory course for people that have little or no experience in developing web pages. The course will be taught at an absolute beginner level. This is as if you know absolutely nothing about web development. In order to complete the training effectively, I'd recommend that you download the following free tutorials that are available on the website, ontargethtml5.com. I have Building a Web Development Server. You can actually download that free tutorial and follow through that. And I've also got a free tutorial on text editors for web development, which editors are available out there that are free and some that are paid that actually have a lot more features. But you do not need a paid version to do this. To follow along with the exercises, you'll need a text editor and a development server, and I highly recommend if you want to learn this, you do follow along. It's very important that you follow along with the demonstrations. That's the best way to learn this. They are very easy to acquire, and you can acquire them free of charge. If you're new to this type of development for Windows users, I'd recommend Notepad++. It's a very good, and it's a free text editor. And you can actually get that text editor at notepad-plus-plus.org. Download, and right now they're on version 7. If you go to that website that's on your screen, you can actually download that text editor. For Mac users, I'd recommend using Text Wrangler. It's another very good text editor that's available free. And you can get that one from www.barebones.com. Under the products menu, you can go to Text Wrangler, and they have a free download for Text Wrangler. For your development server, you can find both the Windows and the Macintosh versions at the following website, www.apachefriends.org, and then you're just going to go ahead and grab the one that pertains to your development environment, whether or not you're working on a Macintosh or you're working on a Windows PC. And by the way, again, I walk through all the steps. If you need to walk through steps and you want to get a little more in depth as to what your development server does, on the free tutorial that you can download at ontargethtml5.com. Download the version that suits your development computer. I have free tutorials on the website for download that walk you through the setup and installation of the Apache server. You're probably not going to need them. If you want to use all the default settings, you can just walk right through the installation guide of the Apache server and it will set it up exactly as you need it for what you're going to do. I have actually a free tutorial on the website because I do some different things with my web development server, and for my students that follow along in a lot of my paid tutorials, they want their server to look exactly like mine, so they follow that setup. Also, let me know what you think once you complete this training. I'm very interested in your feedback as to what topics you'd like to see added to my website. I have got hundreds of free tutorials out there, and I've also got some paid tutorial sets, and I'm always interested in feedback from the users as to what they'd like to see me develop next. I hope you enjoy the free series. I look forward to seeing you on the website. So let's look at our completed project so you can see what we're actually going to do in this tutorial series. All right, I'm going to go ahead and drop out of the presentation. This is the development environment for OnTargetHTML5.com. This is the screen that everybody gets used to seeing. You'll notice I have my development server down here in the bottom corner. For this tutorial series, I'll be probably using Sublime Text 3. We're actually going to walk through setting up the document piece by piece. We're actually going to build a 2-page website. We're actually going to have the capabilities of 4 pages, but because I want to show you how links work, we're going to build 2 pages. We're going to walk through it. I'm going to show you how to build a page from scratch, walking through every piece of it. I'm going to show you how to do the CSS from scratch, and again, walking through every piece of it. And then when we're completed, you'll actually have a web page that looks similar to this. Hopefully it'll look exactly like this if you follow along correctly. And I'm going to show you how to build each one of these items step by step as we go through the process of building our web page. It's a very good primer tutorial series for anyone that's interested in learning a little bit about HTML to see how it's structured. This would be a great start for your learning HTML, CSS, and how they all work together to build web pages. So I look forward to seeing you in the tutorial series. And again, if you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to reach out to me on the website. I'm always looking for input from the users, and I'll see you in the next lesson.